Hey, Rebels. Okay, so I am hearing it takes two, baby. Me and you. But I'm also hearing it takes two to make things go right. Now, why do we have these downloads of it take two with an attitude? Because obviously you have left a situation behind you and somebody is trying to invade your space and your peace and your serenity and your time focused on self and your stability with trying to manipulate you with the understanding that in order for you to succeed, you got to have somebody. You got to be with somebody. So I'm seeing this situation one of two ways. Either you have left someone behind and you no longer want to involve yourself with them. I heard disengage, disengage. And they feel like since you're becoming successful, since you seem to be in peace, that there is somebody, that there gotta be somebody around you who is giving you this sense of peace, that is giving you this sense of stability and happiness. And or there is a situation of you just don't want to deal with someone, and they feel in order for you to ever be successful, in order for you to ever have a lavish life, in order for you to ever be happy, that you have to be with them, right? But let me show you. Let me see. Spirit said, "Fuck what this person or this community think. Fuck what they think, okay? Because this shit is definitely in spiritual court. This shit may actually be in earthly court, but." Spirit wants you to understand and know you are doing all right by yourself. It's one of those you can do bad all by yourself. Why do you need to pick and poke and pry at somebody's mental intellect or their mental chaos in order for you to have anything? Spirit said we're gonna cut that one short. So Spirit is saying you are perfectly fine by yourself. Okay, if anything chaotic happens, you know how to love, you know how to support, you know how to show up best for yourself. That you do not need somebody's handicapped understanding of life to be something that you need to coddle as you move on about your way. So I've been realizing that I've been given a lot of departure messages, a lot of singles messages. I'm maybe one day this week I will set the intentions for giving a couples message. But as of right now, Spirit said that majority of my listeners and those who will find this message, projection, that those who find this message, they are in a energy of independence, that they want to be able to, that you, rebel, want to be able to identify yourself in any relationship that you have going forward, so that way you know what's your shit and what's somebody else's shit. Not saying that you won't correct your shit, but you are sick and motherfucking tired of somebody else making it seem like their life is going to shit because of you being around. So that's why I let they ass go. Let them see that their shit still remains, even though I'm not around, honey. I feel that and I understand that. Spirit says that you have manifested the honesty and the knowing of, does this twin flame stuff, is it really for you? Were you really the problem? And Spirit is saying, you know what your stuff is, so you know what your issues are. The real deeper issue was whomever the other person is who feel like in order for you to have happiness in your life, you need to have somebody. I'm feeling this icky energy of a man feeling like in order for you to be seen as an honorable woman, that you gotta have a man, that you need to check off that bucket, that you need to check a man off your bucket. You will have a man on your bucket list, baby. And that you need to beg him and plead him for him to create you as a secure person, as a secured person. And Spirit said that's not the case. Whew, honey, let me tell you. All right. So Spirit say you fine. You went about things the right way. You examined yourself. You saw yourself for what it was that you are. You know that you are not perfect and that yes, you have baggage, but your baggage is your own and your baggage is not anybody else's responsibility. So therefore, there is no need to go back and forth with somebody trying to tell you about yourself, what you're good at, what you're bad at, or anything. You know enough about yourself that you do not need to hear the sound box of somebody else repeating whatever it is about you to you, because it's so long as you're sitting and engaging in that conversation, whether it's a conversation or whether it's combativeness or whether they feel to make it a debate or whether they just want you to shut the fuck up and listen. It is a waste of your time for somebody else to tell you something about yourself that you already know. Spirit is snapping out over here. Spirit says, stop letting people play with you like that. Because while they're trying to tell you something about yourself that you already are familiar with, you could be actually correcting that about yourself. And you do not need an audience to submit their complaints in order for you to correct things about yourself. It's better for you to just move right along and correct those things about yourself amongst yourself without the audience giving you what they want you to do next, whether it's what they want you to cry, whether they want you to plead, or whether they want you to sit over there and take their advice that's going to wind up further fucking you up. You know you. Spirit say, remember that. You know you. Okay? So here with abundance, trust. You have definitely changed. You are changing. You are changing and transforming and transitioning what your idea of having a counterpart is, what your understanding is of other people's understanding of what the intentions of a counterpart is supposed to be. And you are talking because you realize you focusing so much on having a relationship is more work than your fucking 9 to 5, and you not getting paid for this shit, and you are actually being depleted from these relationships that you have had in your past, and it's fucking with your money, and it's fucking with your stability, and it's fucking with your mental stability, and you much rather focus on the actual money versus the abundance that other people claim that they are going to bring in your life if you are connected to them. Spirit said your ascension is you focusing on your work, your labor, and your effort, the shit that pays you, concerning yourself with you, not concerning yourself with somebody else and how to please them when you realize that you have been depleted and that you are not even pleased with you after you look at how much you did to please somebody else. Spirit said, move right along from these love offers. Honey, you definitely ask Spirit to give you the truth and to show you the truth. And you also ask for your capacity to be able to accept the truth. And the truth of the matter is that you are more in tune with your intuition than what other people are. That other people will more so respond not just a reactive abuse onto you, but reactive abuse of their day-to-day life. And you don't have time to make advances towards people who permit themselves from being able to go forward because they want to make fucking excuses about everything versus actually applying. And Spirit said that's what creates that boundary of difference between you and them. You are actually seeing what your problems are, and you're trying to figure out, and you are actually applying what you discover about yourself to change the currents. Ooh, confirmation. To change the currents of your capability, the current the current circumstances, or circumstances, the current circumstances of your capabilities. And you can't, you realize that in order to keep people around, you have to invest too much of yourself. And not saying that in order to keep all people around, in order to keep certain people around who have been a part of your life, that you've opened your eyes. I heard, look into my eyes and tell me what is it that you see. And you've been seeing a whole bunch of wickedness. You've been experiencing a whole bunch of entitlement off of other people. But when it comes down to you, it's been stressing you the hell out that you cannot seem to integrate who you were then and who you are now and be at wholeness and peace with yourself. So you said, fuck it, I'd rather be in silence. I'd rather be by myself. I'd rather be by myself, realizing that I'm not by myself, and just deal with people when I choose to deal with them. Yeah, sometimes you might get a little bit of toxic, little toxic, what toxic tickle. Okay. Sometimes you might get a little toxic tickle. Spirit saying, sometimes you might get a little toxic tickle, but you need to question yourself. Is that toxic tickle that you feel really worth you starting all over, telling somebody to get the fuck away from you, or getting them to be convinced by your actions of get the fuck away from me? So, Spirit said, be proud of yourself. Do understand they are holding you in the most highest honor that you are ready for to see yourself at right now. Where are we going? I'm feeling here and here. So these two cards and this one card and this one card. Okay, the Visionary Vanguard. It might require multiple trials and error attempts before your desired creations materialize. During this process, honey, let me get these two away from my face. During this process, a significant level of integrity is needed. Move beyond mere logic and reason. Now, this has a lot to do with your ascension. I was told to put that right there. And then these two cards. Yep, that's the way, honey. And then, of course, because they, ain't got on no clothes. Baby, baby, baby. Spirit said we need to balance the scales. They said get one more. Honey, hold on. Spirit said we're not done yet. They said get one more and put, honey. Ooh, love it. So, the lovers clarify with the sun. The choice that you made to select and choose and pick your own self, to choose your own self, is putting you in a complete alignment space and ability to align with yourself, to be able to see yourself, to be able to see brighter days ahead. Why are you telling me to get two more? Ooh, to be able to see the brighter days ahead due to the hardships that you have experienced with, baby, I didn't even know that. Due to the hardships that you have experienced with others, realizing that you were carrying the bulk of the load. Once again, back to that whole, I can do bad all by myself. This is not because you are being spiteful. This is not because you are, resentful. This is simply because you realize that you want to take yourself out of this Five of Pentacles energy and move on about that. If other people want to be left where the hell you left them at and they feel safe is there because they feel that they rank projection, because they feel that they rank in some sense of authority there, that's fine. That's for them, but it's not for you. Okay, that is fine. That's for them. That is not for you. You have reached the bottom of your pit. And it's like being in the deep end of the pool. And you get down to the bottom of the pool and you just lunge yourself all the way up to the top. Because you know that you have seen horizons, that you have seen levels that those back there in that Five of Pentacles energy has yet to experience and see. But you also realize that you cannot meet those levels. And once you have already been with those people there, because they need too much convincing, they need too much persuasion, they need too much of you to be willing to dwell in that space with them until they are ready. And honey, you are ready to go. You are good and ready to go. I heard, look, Spirit said somebody feel like they was overcooked and that it was a lot of process. Okay? But here with the Queen of Wands and the Ace of Cups, baby, let me tell you, your ambition is to be in a space in life of peace and resonating with you always. You want to be able to give from an overflow, not from feeling depleted. You want to be able to be authentically yourself without any explanation. Even if somebody's interested in you and they want to understand you further, they will study you and research you and with no toxic intention. And that is the space that you, just realizing back here, the change with the divine masculine. That is what is changing with you as far as how you see divine masculinity. That is what's changing with you, with this, how you don't even want to connect with the twin flame animosity anymore. The whole back and forth of you did, she did, he did, the tug of war of who is the fault and who is to blame no longer resonates with you. You no longer feel the need to engage in those type of conversations. You no longer feel the need to, or the dependency. You no longer feel the dependency to relate to others via how you all have experienced trauma and what type of trauma y'all have experienced. Baby, this is beautiful. This is so beautiful, because if you look at it, how often is it that people pick friends or pick people who they consider as family based upon the traumas that they experienced? And that is relating to people from a hurt place. So therefore, if you only relate to somebody from a hurt place, when you elevate out of that hurt place, do you know the envy? Do you know like the grudges that will be held upon you? Because that was how y'all connected. Y'all connected through pain. Y'all didn't connect through elevation and excitement. You are officially removing yourself from needing to and depending on pain to keep you rebels. You letting go of pain keeping you. Wow. Wow, what is this? Because that shit was fucking with your head. It was fucking with your head. Baby. Oh, they said get this one over here and put this with that. Yeah, it was fucking with your head so much. You had to see yourself not want to live in hurt anymore. You had to realize of yourself that there is more in life than repeatedly telling those old same stories and reliving those same experiences from your mental space by being hurt, by crying over it, by allowing it to deplete you and any capability that you could possibly have of manifesting something different and new of yourself going forward. Honey, so they want this one. I'm done with this one. Come on. Ooh. So you got solitude with gain. And it says try not to absorb any external energies and carve out some essential alone time to give you a chance to experiment and discover who you really are as an individual. Baby, I love it, because that's what this overall message was about. And with having gain right there, spirit and spirit giving you a thumbs up and saying that you're fruitful with the pair, there is no comparing to you. You had to be able to see yourself in your own ability and capacity of your own individuality. And so long as you had others besides you trying to compete and compare about who went through worse, who had it the worst, who was dealing with more, you would never be able to see yourself. Rebels, why are we pulling right here? Honey. And they, honey, Spirit said that's the tea. That's the tea about you. But nobody who you left behind is going to be willing to spill this tea for you. So Spirit had to come through and let you know. They know, but they will never come outwardly and tell you this about yourself, and that they admire you for this, but they hate the fact that they admire you for this. They will never let it be known to you. So Spirit needed to come and give you this message to let you know. Oh no, it's known. It's known in all realms, okay? Even the devil know. While we pulling right here, even the devil know. Honey. Let me clear my throat. Then we say new levels, new devils. Okay? Even the devil know that it's a whole nother new beginning. You are being met with new things that are going to be created to be familiar to you, that are going to be created to even try to step and distract you from your way. So I'm even hearing someone say, "Oh, you just want things to be your way." Why shouldn't you want things to be your way? It's your life experience. You living it. You're supposed to be living your best life, and in order to live your best life, you should have things your way. But the thing that makes it fair for you to have things your way versus those past people ability, or spirit said inability to have their way, projection, is the fact that you understand everybody has freedom of choice. Everybody has their right to choose, and everybody has the right to make their way, create their departure. And you created your departure. The thing about them is that they just weren't done with you yet. Even though you aggravated them, even though they didn't want to hear about your dreams and they tried to falsify their knowing by saying, "Nah, that's not gonna come true," or create such a chaotic space and environment around you that you just seem so distracted with other things that it proved them to be right, that what you were dreaming up could not possibly be true. Spirit said that's why you needed to remove yourself, because all their shit was preventing you from being able to love on you. You had to treat yourself like you, honey, they don't want to hear it. They ain't got to hear it. You hear. You had to get to a place where you said, "My divine masculine and my divine feminine, we are fine being in union with each other, that we do not need an outward person, an external person to make ourselves to feel complete. That whatever you needed to have service to you, you'll figure that out. And you would do it with the peace and knowing of that you gave it your best effort. That you did not need to beg, plead, or convince, or do a trade for trade with somebody else, and realizing that your trade for trade with somebody else was imbalanced. That you kept on giving a little bit more, a lot more, Spirit said, a lot more than others was willing to ever meet you with, even in remembrance of how much you have done for them. So Spirit said, you got every right. You got every right. Keep on moving. Keep on trailing along, honey. And then you got 6 of Pentacles again. And that bag looked like an Easter egg. Do understand, you are going to have a give and receive of reciprocity that is going to be balanced, that is going to be rooted in the understanding of, even if you're not the first to give, that people are willing and able to feel your energy and understand that you are a giving person, that if you have it, you would. And that sometimes just because they see that you have it does not mean that it's there for the taking. So this new beginning of yours, honey, why are we pulling right here? Honey, it's going to be a lot of people who's going to want to steal your identity with their immaturity and tell you that that you are only being defensive, and that you were creating things all up in your head because they didn't pay attention to their behavior. They were so caught up and consumed in the games that they were playing that they didn't pay attention to what their actions were obviously exposing about them. So there are going to be people from your past who are going to try to come and chop your tree down of the pedestal that you rightfully so climbed your way up to. Spirit said, don't pay them no mind, because that's what misery does. Misery enjoys company. All right. They said another one. And baby, understand that they are your groupies, even your haters. Even your haters like you and they love you, but they don't like you and love you for the reasons that you needed. So that's why you had to move on about. Spirit says split deck. Now we're gonna have to get another one, because this is what we do when they show up naked. This is what we do when they show up naked. Let me go ahead and arrange that for you. Because they just want to call judgment on a star. But you've already called judgment on yourself in a situation. You've asked for it to be revealed to you. Even your missteps, even your mistakes. And so you could perfect yourself. And so you could be more in a comfort within your own skin. Confirmation. So you could be more in the comfort of your own skin. And that's something that they can't take away from you unless you allow them to. So remember this about yourself, rebels. So it says inevitable endings. You are currently in a toxic situation and or was in a toxic situation, and continuing to replay the same story will not lead to anything positive. It's time to move on. You know deep down that this is not your story, baby. You look, you know, and you knew it. So whether this is something that you did in the past, that you moved away from some stuff and you just like, oh, that sounds like me, or whether this is something currently that's going on and you like, I was wondering, or confirmation, or if this is something that is in your future planning, Spirit said get to it, because this toxic situation is not something that you are gonna want to stick to. You got time here left. And I know you don't want to spend your time here left barely talking to me. You don't want to spend your time here left trying to figure somebody else out when you should really be spending more time trying to figure you out. So, rebels, I am about to send you on your way, but they said another one, painting the roses red, covering up the errors. Then we just say, you need to spend more time figuring you out and not being so invested on allowing yourself to be the slave to somebody else's storyline when you don't even know if they'll ever make their way up out their own horror. Rebels, baby, let me. You know what? Let's get this one right here too. Control yourself. That's all you can do. Control yourself. They're not gonna want to watch it. Listen, it's just like being in a relationship, and the person who you're with don't want to watch what you want to watch. Okay, they don't want to live the life that you want to live. They want it. They just don't want to have to do the work. Okay, they don't want to slowly flip through all the channels like they used to do way back when. Okay, they want all the media answers and they just want it to look like that. They want it to already be on that channel. All right, but Spirit said, no, you in control of your life. And they're sure that you do not want to live their life, and you don't want to keep on watching the episodes that they are watching. You don't want to keep on living in the episodes that they're living in. You don't want to keep on playing that reoccurring character in their story. So Spirit say, let it go. It's perfectly fine. And if you had let it go, this is your confirmation message, honey. Listen. So it says, don't allow negative emotions to foster. If you are feeling frustrated, angry, or hurt, for example, just acknowledge that. Instead of fighting your feelings, go with them and work with them. Then true healing can really begin. Honey, you on your way. You on your way. What? Oh, I saw the number. I don't know what the cards say. And then this one says malevolent behavior and political authority. So once again, this is the energy of them where they feel that you are supposed to apply yourself to the societal norms. That in order for being reminded it was that it takes two energy, honey. In order to have a successful relationship, you gotta fight for it, and you gotta stay in the toxic moments, and you gotta stick with them, and you gotta commit to it even when it's bad. But you realize shit was too bad, that the shit was really toxic, and that it confined you in a way that you no longer felt yourself. You no longer felt like you can be yourself, that you were even questioning yourself about who it was that you were. And you had to realize that it wasn't about who it was that you were as an individual, it was about who you were in the situation. So 111, 111, 11, 1, however you want to look at that. And it says intuition. Time to implement long cherished ideas. You are on the right track towards making your dreams and your vision a reality. The right people, circumstances, and resources are being sent your way. Happy and new opportunities are at hand. Trust in the process. Rebel, I love you and I adore you, but obviously, it don't take two. It don't take two for you to be able to see yourself as an individual. And that's your message. So, Rebels, I love and I adore you, but go live life and make it do what it needs to do for you, babe. Why are we pulling from right here? I thought we just awakened. Or enough said. Go live your life. Make it do what it needs to do for you. Go, Rebels.